There he is. Hey. When you look at dock fishing patterns across the upper Midwest here, these docks will hold fish early in the year, and a lot of times bass will bed under or around docks. As the summer progresses, the next thing that happens is the bluegills will bed around these docks. But on so many different bodies of water, these docks will hold fish for a big part of the summer. On most bodies of water, if you can flip a dock or skip a dock, you're always going to catch bass. There he is. Good fish. Good one. Oh, come on out. Oh, that's a nice bass. That fish is right underneath the dock. Oh, come on up here. That might be a little bit too big to lift here. That's a great fish. There. That fish just crushed that jig and craw. As soon as that hit the water, boom. That's a fawn bite. See you later, girlfriend. That was cool. That's the thing is, every time you pitch underneath one of these docks, you just don't know what's gonna happen, but boy, there's some tremendous bass, all across the upper Midwest. You look at the quality of bass fishing in Minnesota, Wisconsin, even parts of Iowa, even parts of the Dakotas here. And the fact that this is so close to home for so many people, bass fishing is just becoming more and more popular. And why? It's fun. I mean, who wouldn't enjoy this? There's a lot of different presentations you can use when you're fishing around docks. One of my favorite things to use is just a classic weedless jig and craw. A setup like this with a flipping rod, you're basically working the perimeter of the dock. You're focusing on the posts and you're focusing on the edges. Sometimes you can actually skip these underneath the dock, but basically when you're flipping, you just want a heavy enough rod, 7 foot, 7.5 foot, medium heavy rod, where you just build up some power in that tip where you just flip it underneath the dock or next to the dock. And basically, jig and craw, you're focusing on the edges. Now, if the dock's high enough, you can also skip with a spinning rod right underneath the dock, and just a classic wacky worm setup, just a plain hook. With a spinning rod, you can skip way underneath the dock. And so a lot of times I'll start out with a jig and craw and fish the edges, and after I wear out my welcome on the edges of the dock, then I'll try to get up underneath the dock with a spinning rod. Even if you have to put your power pole down or your talon down and just get in position on these docks and be real methodical. Just fish every piece of it, fish every post. And so often it's just amazing how many fish you can find living underneath one dock. There he is. Oh, that is cool. That fish came 3 feet out of the water. There we go. Whoa, black and blue. On so many lakes that have a lot of cabins around them, the docks are the most obvious piece of fish structure on that entire lake. But despite the fact that they're so obvious, you can't go wrong flipping docks most of the summer. I mean, they just hold bass. And obviously not all docks are created equal, but on so many different bodies of water, you can dissect these docks. You can just spend time figuring out the sweet spots and figuring out which docks are good. And they are so consistent. And the thing about this is that you can go through a row of docks and an hour later go right back through there and catch fish just like they're fresh, because these fish are going up under the shade of the dock and they're poking out on different edges. And you could fish a dock and an hour and a half later go through and and catch fish on a dock that you didn't even know were there.
Jason Mitchell Outdoors is brought to you by these industry leaders.
You can't choose the weather, but you can choose to dress for it. Introducing Blackfish Performance Rain Gear. Utilizing patented eVent technology, this advanced membrane allows body heat and vapors to escape while offering 100% waterproof protection with an exceptional combination of waterproof and breathability ratings. Blackfish Rain Gear keeps you dry all day. Whether on the tournament trail or chasing weekend walleyes, choose Blackfish because you can't choose the weather.
You've waited all winter for this. We can't wait either.
Every day, it is you against the fish. From the Fish Hawk and Pro Tiller to the Bass Hawk and Raptor, Crestliner's entire fleet is designed to maximize your pleasure and performance on the water. Handcrafted, continuously welded seams combined with high-grade, heavy-gauge aluminum lead the industry with unbeatable engineering, strength, and durability. Crestliner has been catching fish for over 70 years. Crestliner, forged with strength, defined by durability.
From the makers of the legendary Salmo Hornet, meet the new Salmo Freediver 9. Capable of reaching depths over 25 feet, the Freediver has set the new standard for deep diving walleye crankbaits.
See that Freediver, that fish just mugged that bait.
Individually handcrafted, tank tested, and tuned by Salmo artisans, every Salmo lure produces perfect action every time. Catch more fish with the new Salmo Freediver 9.
There he is. Oh, come here. Fish is living right where he should be, right off the corner of that dock right there. Oh, gorgeous. Boy, they're just fat. Now my basic setup for flipping docks is just a weedless jig with a craw on the back, and tell you what, you can't go wrong with black and blue, pumpkin seed, motor oil. As a general rule of thumb, if the fish are really going on crayfish, black and blue can be a really good color. In fact, black and blue is probably my overall favorite color on a lot of lakes, especially in Minnesota. Pumpkin seed, green pumpkin, motor oil, those brown colors can work really good, especially if you see a lot of bluegills around the docks, but just those natural earth tone dark colors, day in and day out, will catch fish. You know, there's so many days where my very biggest fish come on that jig and craw. Here we go. This is a good one. Oh, come here. Wow, that's a good fish. Come on. Wow. Come on up here. Here she comes. Oh. Kind of got her hog tied here, wrapped up here. Oh, let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, look at that. That hook is just buried in her. Look at that, just a big old sow belly. That's a great North Country bass right there. There, get that fish back. Thank you. That was cool. I had everything I could do to drag that fish out of there. Fish didn't want to get dragged out in the light, that's for sure. Obviously not all these docks are created equal. You know, you'll put a pattern together with fish seem to be preferring docks in a certain depth. You know, some docks are too shallow. Sometimes the number of poles that are vertical in the water will make a spot better, but typically it's all about the shade. What's fascinating to me is just how largemouths will accumulate wherever there's shade. A lot of times you'll see these dock patterns where the sun is low in the horizon and these fish will be roaming. You can cast 10 feet away from a dock and get bit. As that sun gets high overhead and if there's some recreational boating activity, those fish will be sucked right up underneath that dock. You'll see that change through the day where one side of a dock along a particular shoreline will be producing fish because that's the shady side. The sun changes the angle a few hours later and it's going to be a different side. And so definitely try to put that pattern together, but remember that's a moving target because that shade is moving underneath those docks. Oh, lift her up in here. Come here. Oh, yes. There. Still got my craw, but she's getting beat up. So we're typically rigging these weedless jigs with just some type of a craw imitation, big pinchers, and basically they just undulate in the water. But black and blue, green pumpkin, just classic colors. But you can buy these in bulk at Scheels. They're just great action, great scent, everything you need for catching bass. There he is. Oh! Oh, come on up here. Whoa! That is a great fish. We've got jet skis buzzing us. That's all right. Wow, beautiful fish. All right. They make a splash. That was a nice one. Yeah, still using the same old jig and craw, which is one of my confidence baits as far as just especially catching big fish. Obviously docks and boat lifts and even swim rafts can all hold fish, and basically you're just looking for shade. And so you look at pontoon boats, you look at some of these big docks, you know, they just offer a lot of shade. Typically the more shade, the bigger the spot, the more fish that dock can hold.